What are the chances of Biden and Trump being the nominees?
I think the chance of Trump is very high. I think the chance of Biden is entirely dependent on whether or not they can do something to turn his health around, because it seems like his mental health is deteriorating so rapidly and so publicly that it's a narrative now, and it's an inescapable narrative. I mean, he just said they cured cancer the other day. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see
I mean,
it,
he just says things and he doesn't know what he's saying. He clearly is compromised mentally. There's something wrong.
Did you see the movie Cocoon? I mean, they... But here's the thing. I think that the Biden thing is, I'm probably on the other side of this, but like I view Biden as like, his foot and mouth disease has disappeared. So in other words, he used to say stuff like even when he was with Obama,
Yeah.
they would be like, we got to get Biden out of here.
Right.
And I don't think he does that. And some of it is...
What do you mean you don't think he does it? He does it all the time.
Well, I mean, but now they're calling them senior moments. But like before, he used to be like, he would say things and people were like, ixnay on the talking Biden.
Well, when you're a liar and an idiot as a young man...
So you're pro-Biden. I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, he's clearly a liar. I mean, there's videos of him lying when he was younger about his education record,
and he lifted the coal miner speech from the guy. And,
yeah. Well, we used to do Joe Biden night at Stitches in Boston in the 80s, because when he was running for president in 1988, he got caught plagiarizing.
Yeah, a whole speech.
So when not just one, I think it was more than one.
Oh, really?
And also I think there was some other evidence of plagiarism in his past. So we used to do a night at Stitches, where like you would do my act, I would do your act, we would go up and do our friends' acts.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was Joe Biden night.
No way.
Yeah, and this is in 1988.
But I don't know. Maybe this. All right, this is what I think. I think that if Trump, I think that if Trump goes away, I think Biden's going to go. See ya. You guys take over. That's what I naively think.
Trump's not going to go away. I mean, they would have to put him in jail, and it doesn't seem like they're able to do that. What are the charges now? What are the most egregious, most difficult to defend charges? Because there's the top secret document stuff, but the problem with that is Biden has multiple instances of these top secret documents. Had them in his fucking Corvette in his garage, like.
There's a couple cases, according to the Politico website.
Criminal cases. Definitive guide to the key players and legal risks in the 4 criminal probes of Donald Trump. So over 234 years in the nation's history, no American president, former president was indicted. That changed in March of 2023. Charged with 34 felony counts in connection with hush money payments to a porn star. See, that one's a weird one. Because it's like, that's not a big deal.
Well, that's
hush money payments.
I mean, I don't know if our wives would agree.
No, definitely, it's not like morally.
No, but it is. But yeah, that's like in the era of JFK, that would be like, how dare you bring that up?
Yeah. So 37 felony counts for mishandling classified documents and impending investigations. Now, what I've heard about this is these counts are inflated. So there's a bunch of counts, but they multiply those accounts based on the amount of documents and things. So it becomes all these different counts. I'm talking on my ass here. I know
but
what I'm saying,
some of it is like, but that's...
And so 2 other ongoing criminal probes, both related to 2020 election interference. Those are serious.
Yeah, I think the January 6th thing is pretty bad.
Well, the January 6th thing is bad, but also the intelligence agencies were involved in provoking people to go into the Capitol building. That's a fact.
So wait a minute. You're saying that guy... What's his name?
Ray Epps.
Yeah, you really think that he
I don't know, but I do know that
that's pretty apparent. I think he's going to sue Fox.
I think every other person who was involved in January 6th, who was involved in coordinating a break-in into the Capitol and in instigating people breaking, they were all arrested. This guy wasn't. Not only that, they were defending him in the New York Times, the Washington Post, all these different things, saying that Fox News is unjustly accused him of instigating. Well, he clearly instigated. He did it
there's
on
footage of
camera.
it.
I don't know if he was a Fed. I know a lot of people think he was a Fed. The people that were there were calling him a Fed. What I do know is when they asked the FBI said, we can't tell you whether or not there were people that were there that were doing that. Now, there's been reports that there was hundreds of agents that were there that were doing that. I don't know if that's true either. But I do know that they do use agent provocateurs to disrupt peaceful protests. It's a common tactic. So this is a tactic that some government agencies use to stop
but wait a
peaceful
minute.
protests.
All right, so what you're saying is on January 6th, that this event that obviously Trump organized, forget about the Giuliani stuff and the whether they thought that it was
He definitely
stolen.
encouraged people to protest.
Yes, but all right. So you're saying that like the FBI and Nancy Pelosi and
I'm not saying Nancy Pelosi.
No, but like you're saying that like they're like we'll make this instead of an awkward protest, we'll encourage it so that it'll backfire on Trump rather than being this rising of people that believe that there was election corruption.
I think it's certainly
I
possible.
think that would be hard. You think it's possible? I think it's possible.
You don't think it's... Wait a minute. You think it's hard to do?
I think that, that the FBI or the CIA saying, hey, Trump lost this election. Because here's what you're kind of implying. Trump lost the election. He is such an amazing communicator, and he's convinced this loyal base that there was election interference. We don't want them to protest. How we can end this is if we encourage people to go beyond protesting to essentially go into the Capitol and take a shit in the hallway. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't see why that would be of use. Like, I'm more suspicious why Trump didn't call for backup when, for the Capitol Police. You know what I mean? It's like there was, and that like Michael Flynn's brother was, you know what I mean? Like there's way more conspiracy stuff against Trump, and then I think the slim likelihood that people were like, oh, Trump's a problem, let's just get these people that are loyal to Trump to run into the Capitol so that we can arrest 300 people. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense. No, I think it's a standard tactic, especially when someone is the enemy of the intelligence agencies. With Trump, that's absolutely the case. Trump set himself up against the intelligence agencies. He did it openly and he did it brazenly. And a lot of people think it's very dangerous. Like the intelligence agencies are very important. You want to find out what's going on in other countries. You want to find out what the threats to America are. You want to find out what terrorist activities are going to be taking place and stop them before.
And, JFK had his problem with the intelligence agencies.
Well, I mean, look, it's unchecked power, right? That's the deep state. It's unchecked power.
So you're saying when he was in Helsinki and he was saying, I believe Putin more than my intelligence community, that was something the intelligence community was like, we're going to get him.
Well, I think they were going to get him in any way that they could because he's an enemy of the intelligence agencies. And he was openly talking about them being incompetent and being corrupt. And he fired Comey, and, he was against the FBI. And, look, it's a very dangerous thing. You talk to people that are in intelligence agencies. Like, it's a very dangerous thing for a president to be at war with the intelligence agencies and to do it so publicly. And I think it's without a doubt, when you have a gigantic, massive protest that a lot of people think is a threat to democracy, you have these people that are saying the election was rigged and they're on the Capitol lawn, they're screaming and yelling. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that they would encourage people to do things that were unlawful. Instead of peacefully protesting, which is what everybody was doing on the outside, which is totally legal, to take that and escalate it to entering into the Capitol. Now you can lock things down, and now you have real clear evidence that this president is responsible for this insurrection attempt, and this is dangerous. This is a threat to our democracy, and he's never going to be president again. We're going to indict him. We're going to go after him. We're going to do all these different things. I think it's not like there's a lot of shenanigans going on both sides. It's not like a clear cut, like he shouldn't have done that and they should have done this. It's like there's a lot of fuckery, and there's a lot that's been going on throughout history. Whenever people have unchecked power and unchecked influence, and they have enemies, and Trump was their enemy.
Even, and again, I'm not saying that there isn't corruption on both sides, but like in the end, for me personally, it's like when people complain about Biden's, age or his cognitive decline or whatever, I'm like, the alternative to me is not acceptable.
The alternative being Donald Trump.
Yes.
And what's least acceptable about that, as opposed to Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and all the corruption that we know for sure happened with them?
I think, look, Joe Biden's relationship with his son, who obviously struggles with addiction. I mean, look, half of our friends struggle with addiction. He's a compassionate father. Is there some of that, like, make some money with our influence after we left office, or even
during office, or when he was
even
vice
when
president.
we were senator or stuff like that? Is there some of that? Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of that.
But compared to Trump, compared to like Jared getting a $2 billion contract, compared to like, like even the documents, like the documents that like Biden had versus like Trump literally showing the documents, some of them being I think we're going to find out, being really inconsequential. I'm not saying he was selling them. I'm not saying, I don't know if he was, it was like a big swinging dick move. By the way, I do want to make clear that I do have the approach of like, I could find something out and be like, all right, but like there is part of me that's like, it's very little doubt in my mind that Trump is the most corrupt and was like just the it's not, like Andrew Jackson was like did horrible things, but like I don't begrudge someone having kind of like kick ass and take no prisoners kind of attitude. It's it's not the style. It's just I think that there's repeated corruption. I mean, like
but there's repeated corruption with the Biden administration. The corruption with his son. First of all, his son struggling with addiction. That's not my concern. I mean, it sucks. It sucks if you have a kid that's hooked on crack and is a fucking complete disaster, and he pulls himself out of it. Congratulations for him. That's not what It's the corruption. It's the clear influence by foreign agents and foreign.
You don't think Trump has more corruption?
I don't think there's evidence the same way that there's evidence right now because of the laptop and because of the recorded conversations. There's real evidence that they were getting money from other countries.
What about Trump University? What about his fundraising things?
No. I'm not saying that he's clean. I'm not saying that he's clean, but I'm saying to dismiss the Biden corruption.
But you think that Biden's way more guilty of corruption than Trump?
I'm not saying that.
You're saying they're equal.
I'm saying they're both corrupt. And I'm saying that to say that Biden is like the good, that was like what everybody thought when he got into office. Finally, the adults are in the room now. But that's not really true. And nothing really changed that much once they got in there. It's not it's not like what everybody would like. There's a good guy and a bad guy. I think there's two bad guys. And I think there's corruption that exists in big business and in government that is on a scale that we probably would get violently ill if we found out the actual numbers and what really is going on in terms of influence and how decisions get made and about how certain people become immune to prosecution and certain people become
Jeffrey Epstein.
There's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot. The Epstein thing is fucking nuts. It's nuts that they put that woman in jail for sex trafficking to no one. Who are the people? There's no list. You have no idea. There's no
Well, they
no
have that
disclosure.
list, right?
But the fact that no one's asking for that, and the people that were involved in these crimes have never been brought to justice or even discussed, and it's just something that just gets swept under the table. There's no outcry. There's no people demanding an investigation to find out what the fuck happened. There's real clear evidence that he was murdered, and everyone's trying to say it was just suicide. No big deal. And they're like, oh, the cameras didn't work. No big deal. Whatever. It's over. Let's not talk about it anymore. That's nuts. That's crazy. There's clear evidence that they did that in front of everybody's face. They killed that guy. He knew too much. And now...
To send him out. Who do you think killed him? As you step right into a lie.
Who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? I mean, the cameras were off. Who knows? They probably sent in an assassin who fucking strangled him. And then made it look like it was some kind of a suicide attempt.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that that's what they did.
Left with
Yeah.
he was on suicide watch, and he didn't have a roommate and stuff like that.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on with that.
Why